even more exciting is the fact that we have come to the part of the youth days with the two keynote speakers we are very pleased with. And wow, I was breathful and jumping and singing. And enjoy it. Right, our keynote speaker, and the first one at that of this evening. He's a distinguished freethinker, former member of the CFI, Centre for Inquiry in the Netherlands. He is famous for putting up a billboard quite close to on one of the busiest highways in the Netherlands, saying God doesn't exist, so go on and have a decent life. Yeah, that's and he is also the keynote speaker with the single coolest shirt I have ever seen a keynote speaker wear, and the coolest beard I have ever seen a keynote speaker wear. So, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, Floris van der Berg.
Thank you very much for this great introduction. And it's nice that good to be here, and nice to be here with friends. I don't know all of you, but I have a feeling I'm amongst friends here. It's nice that you introduced me like a rock star. That's also like, only the difference is that the front line, of course, we filled. It's not a concept. So today I'm a philosopher. That's why I'm also an atheist, of course. I mean, because anyone who thinks, of course, is an atheist. So I'm really pleased, and I was really shocked to hear our friends from Bangladesh that it is such a horrible place that you cannot speak out being an atheist. And I'm very, well, I got a feeling to be very privileged to live in an open society. And I hope also that we have, because we are living in an open society, that we can help other people around the world who live in closed societies to help them to make this world a better place. That's why I'm very pleased that we can invite people here from over Europe to celebrate humanism. And not only for ourselves, but also to, well, and be a little bit a humanist evangelical, spread the word of truth and good values towards the world. To make this world a better place with more truth and less suffering in the world. And today I'm going to do some philosophy with you. This is my philosophy table. I'm not using PowerPoint, so there are things here, some of which I might use. Otherwise, you might ask, what the hell is that doing there? You can ask me, then I might explain it or not. So you can also be free to heckle. Just throw something out with what's on your mind. We can have a debate, and if I have enough of it, I just say shut up, and then I just feel free. Also, be careful. I'm going to be very honest. So I'm giving honest answers. They might be insulting, offensive, or anything. Oh, by the way, this also, let me start with a bit of warning. Sometimes people feel offended or insulted with my lectures. Probably you might feel that as well, or I don't know. You see, but then I've warned you. Then you cannot say that I feel offended. Well, you might. So then, if you might have that feeling that it might be you, then we can leave the room now. Oh. So, okay, now we got that clear. So I can say anything right now. So, because you cannot be offended anymore. Or you can, but you cannot say that you're offended because I warned you. So, Stephen and Laura and me were just joking around that we were actually like a little bit of we were trying who would be the best at trying to get members of the audience out. Who of us would be the most offensive? So, but if I win, he won't notice. Because you won't know, because you're not in here yet. So I'll do my best. But the purpose is not to be as offensive as possible. It's just like a collateral damage. So okay, what I'm going to do is that I've written a small book, and it's one of the things is that you can put it upright. That's one of I think I want to have it upright. And it's in Dutch. I don't know why. I don't know how to write in Dutch. I mean, no one can read it like one people here in the Netherlands and our friends in Belgium. So I don't know. So, but I did. That's why I'm very glad that Leonard offered me the chance to explain it in English, so that I have a little bit wider audience. And this is about a philosophy of eco-humanism. I'm a humanist, and many of you are, presumably are humanists. But one of the differences between humanism and religion is that humanism is an ideology which is aware that it's made by humans. Of course, religions are also created by humans, but most religious people are not aware of that fact. But humanists are aware that humanism is a human-made ideology. And therefore we also have to calibrate and rethink this ideology if it really is okay, if it really fits our contemporary problems. And I think it is time that we rethink, that there's a fundamental reason to rethink humanism and to expand it towards eco-humanism. So to start with, I embrace all classical humanism, well, the Enlightenment humanism, the radical humanism, so not the Erasmus humanism, but the radical humanism, the atheist humanism, and then I'm going to expand it. But I think humanism is such a wonderful ideology and such a wonderful movement also worldwide. I don't want to throw that away. I mean, if I would have called it a different name, they probably wouldn't have invited me here because it's not about humanism. So maybe it's the strategic reason for me to call it humanism. So I keep all the good things from humanism. I'm just going to expand. And the expansion might be a little bit difficult for some of you, but you can learn. Well, that's also, and also one of the reasons, one of the things is I consider this evening a complete failure if you're not all vegans tonight. So that's my thing. So I'm going home disappointed if one of you still continues to eat meat after this. This is my open agenda. I'm a classical missionary preaching to the people who I think are immoral monsters when they contribute to the animal holocaust. So this was just some, no one offensive yet? No. Oh, wow, this is really great. Usually when I use holocaust further up in my speech, some people get really angry and get shouting. Well, okay, well, nice. Okay. So rewind. I start at the beginning. That's always a good thing. So I give you the conclusion already. I give you my whole agenda. I'm open about what I'm going to do. So no one heckled me. So it's okay.
Do you want us to heckle?
Well, you're free. Yeah? You can just shout or give comments. I might answer. So be careful. That's all I want. So you feel free. And I'm very much skilled in debating. I'm trying to impress you, so feel free. No. Okay. Eco-humanism is a worldview, or actually a universe view. Like religion is also a worldview, and all religious worldviews have one thing in common. They are not true. They are not related to reality. That's what we call religion. Religion is a worldview not related to reality. Yes? And humanism is a worldview, and then, of course, what's the world? The world is just a planet in a universe. So humanism is a view of the universe and our place within that, but also a set of moral values. That is what humanism is. So that's the false worldviews, religion, and the one true one, humanism. So how come that the majority of humanity does not embrace humanism? I don't get it. I also don't get it that many people in the world have had some kind of education and are still religious. I think that anyone who has had some kind of education and is still religious, that shows that the complete failure of education. Education is critical thinking. And how much critical thinking do you need to know that there are no fairies in the sky? So if any kind of education you still believe in God, it just shows you have very bad education or you're really stupid. So I think it's okay. So we are going to build up this worldview, and the thing is, I'm going to strive for consensus, and consensus means that you agree with everything I say. And if you don't agree, you heckle me and say what's wrong, and then I rewrite the book. And then maybe I convert to another ideology, or maybe I start meat eating, or maybe I start not calling then maybe I start calling myself a misogynist or something. If you have good arguments against feminism, I start calling myself a misogynist. Or anything. So the thing is that I think I have good reasons, but if not, if you have better reasons, then let me hear. That is what humanists are. Yes.
Is it possible to prove that there's no God?
No, that's a good point. It's not possible to prove there's no God. So, as a logician, you cannot prove a negative. But the thing is that, as an atheist, I'm not saying there is no God. I'm just saying that anyone who has come up with any argument for any supernatural entity whatsoever has not given any convincing evidence. So the burden of proof is on anyone who says that there are fairies in the sky, or so. And just give anyone who wants to give it a try to give an argument for any supernatural power.
Where sure?
Well, he was first.
So you can't prove negative.
Yes, you can't. Yes. So I'm an atheist. So the thing is, but the nice thing is, I'm an atheist, and I would believe in God if there's good evidence. But then I wouldn't believe in God. I would just accept the evidence. Because believing means you accept something as true without having any evidence for it. Yes.
But you say they don't have good evidence.
Yes.
And then you say that I can prove it doesn't exist, so you don't have good evidence either.
No. I'm not proving anything. I'm just saying that anyone who claims there is any reason for supernatural entity, I'm just saying there's not. So that means that I don't have any reason to believe in any supernatural being. But if there would be good arguments, then I would accept it.
There are like things we can explain, and people just call it God because they can't explain it.
Yeah, that would be nice, but there are many things you can't explain. You can always say, well, God did it. That's good. But the thing about science is expanding the horizon of our knowledge. Isn't that beautiful? Science is expanding the horizon of our knowledge. But the thing is, if you expand your horizon, there's always more that you do not know. So the more you know that you don't know, and then you can say that the bigger God becomes. So science only agrees that we don't know things, so God gets always bigger.
Yeah, but people that believe in God aren't done. They're just.
Well, I think they are.
I
I really think that people believe in God are dumb, stupid, or not well educated, or very have a. I don't know. I just don't like that. Of course, humanists should say, "Oh, we love each other," so I don't do it. I respect their individual human rights, but I think they're stupid. Yes.
So you only believe in arguments and rational and not in feelings or...
No. Oh, love. Oh, do I believe? Well, I have a wife, I have children, so I believe in love. But my wife also has to give some reasons why I should love her. I said, you could heckle me, but I also want to have to build up an argument, and I'm not getting there. So I'm sorry, I'm just going to be a little authoritarian humanist. So I'm going to quit it for 5 minutes because sorry, I'll say yes. Okay. So because otherwise I can't make up my story, and then I have a message to get across, and I want to get the message. So 5 minutes, no questions. Sorry. So you gave it to me, so I'm the little dictator on the floor now. The humanist dictator on the floor, saying that you are allowed to heckle, or not always, but I don't like it. So that's how it is. But you're still free to leave. Okay. So we have to. Humanism is a universe view, but as a philosopher, I'm interested in building up the most rational set of values and a view of the universe. And I'm much an admirer of Descartes, who also he lived in Utrecht actually for a while. He has been in Europe for all over Europe, but also a little time in Utrecht. And so I want to start with a few basic premises. In philosophy we call this axioms. So I start with 2 axioms. And from those 2 actions, I build up this whole philosophy of ecohumanism. And if you don't accept the actions, okay, well then we can agree to disagree about it. And the first axiom of ecohumanism is what I call the rationality axiom. If anyone, and I'll explain this axiom, the rationality axiom, but if anyone makes a statement, you will have to give good rational arguments to justify it. So, if I make a statement, you can ask me what are your reasons for that. If I say outside there is a big tower, then that's a statement. And then you can look outside and you can see it. That's a good argument, I would say. Wouldn't it? That's a rational argument. If I would say outside there is a huge blue tower, just believe me, then you wouldn't believe me. I would say, how? Really? And then if you look outside, you say, well, yes, indeed, it's not blue. So everyone who makes a statement has to be able to provide rational arguments for that. So that's the first. It's really simple. But you know, if it was very simple, why is there then religion in the world? I don't know. So the second axiom has to do with ethics. And ethics has this axiom goes like this: that the unnecessary suffering is bad. Unnecessary suffering is bad. If you say, well, that's not, no, I really think unnecessary suffering is good. So that's of course you can accept it or not accept it. But then you have also to think, well, you know, what if I would suffer unnecessarily by others, by the actions of others? Then you also have to accept that. So unnecessary suffering is bad. So think about it for some time when you build it up. So there's 2 actions. The ethical, the morality action, suffering action, and the rationality action. Okay. From there on, I built up this whole philosophy of ecohumanism. And it starts with, these are building blocks. Huh? So from this, and all building blocks are justified only by these 2 actions. And the first building block of ecohumanism it's classical, of course, it's atheism. From the rationality principle, it really...
Sorry.
No problem. Nice melody. Well, God going in is getting really angry now. God does not accept it. So, okay, well, so we have here atheism. That's what I think. And then, as I'm saying, I'm working on the concept of ecohumanism. I think humanism should embrace atheism. Humanism without atheism is like, well, let's make a human rights without gay rights. It doesn't make sense. It's intellectually gibberish. And I know that the University of Humanistics has a paranoia against atheism. Well, I think they are just lost somewhere in the intellectual vanity around there. And so I think that humanism is necessarily atheistic. Because, you know, humanism is about embracing the force of reason. So reason without atheism is not reason. It's just stupidity. my own. So that's, here you have the first person leaving.
Something wrong with the microphone.
Okay. Can you? Is it off? Can you help us?
Yeah, just the video.
Can Seems like I'm being censored here. Well, strike me now! You're like a cyborg.
Or you can hold it.
Enhanced reality. Okay. So, okay. Well, that's just starting. We're starting like atheism. And of course, we can just add the second one is skepticism. And with skepticism, I mean skepticism of paranormal or pseudoscientific claims. And the thing is, most atheists are also skeptics, but many skeptics have some kind of, well, they are restrained when it comes to religion. Many skeptics, they say, well, of course, we don't believe in fairies, but they don't speak out about religion. And of course, the difference between religion and what we call, what do you call that in English? Things people believe, which is not institutionalized. Superstition, thank you. Superstition. Religion, of course, is just institutionalized superstition. Yeah? So you can have, there's no difference between that, only the way that it is institutionalized. So skepticism also includes this. I don't know why, but I feel like saying that also the University of Humanistics. I don't know why I want to say this and to share this with you, because, but some of the humanists also have an inclination to embrace some kind of spirituality and also just so paranormal. So that's fine with me, but then it's not humanism anymore. Humanism with a belief in the paranormal or superstition or Quakery, and if you still think that homeopathy works, okay, then I would still say there's something wrong with your education system. That's all. Well, it's nice when I say that to students, I don't clap, they just listen. Okay, that's good to hear that there's some kind of the audience here is now. So, okay, then the third one, okay, the order can differ. It's just, I think you agree with this humanism itself, good old humanism. The good old humanist values which we'll have and embrace, including human rights. So I won't say about anything about classical humanism. Let's see and then we have secularism. Secularism also is a necessarily constituent of ecohumanism. Secularism means that we have a separation of church and state, or religion and state. And so that the state is religiously neutral and all the institutions are also religiously neutral. So religion should not only be out of, and I'm in favor of what's called strong secularism. So there's multiculturalism, which says that, well, we should have all kind of, the state should equally sponsor all religions. So in the Netherlands we have this system with, you have religious universities. But I'm in favor of strong secularism, which says you should separate religion and state, and religion and education. There should only be secular, science-based, liberal education. I learned that from my friend Stephen Law. Thank you for that. So that's something that of course in the Netherlands 95% of our what's called religious education is secular education. But I think it's really important to address this thing that religion should not be involved in government and not be involved in universities or schools. Yes?
But humanism can have a role.
No, I'm also against the University of Humanism.
Yes!
I'm a humanist, of course, but I'm against that, yes. But that's not my main point today. Okay. So now I'm going. So that was a political thing. So now I'm going to say something about an ethical system, and that's called what I call liberalism. And now I know that you're thinking about neoliberalism, but I'm not talking about neoliberalism. I'm going to be making points, Stephen. People leaving the audience. Yeah, you get the score, yes. Liberalism, well, I'm talking about philosophical liberalism. And philosophical liberalism means freedom, that the core value is individual liberty. Not a collective, but individual. Of course, that's a core value of humanity. But then, we need to know about how much liberalism. And I'm very much in favor of this famous book on liberty by John Stuart Mill. And John Stuart Mill formalized that what is the maximum individual freedom that is logically possible with the freedom of others. And he said, well, my freedom goes to where your freedom ends. And then he made it into one famous principle, the no harm principle. Everything is allowed as long as you do not harm others.
Except religion.
No? I think, what do you mean with that?
You're saying people are stupid, they're religious.
Yes, they are. And I'm not against insulting, I'm against physical harm.
Physical harm.
Yes, and so I think there's no right not to be insulted. Keep the score. So I'm saying, I think it should be openly said that people that are religious in our well-educated society are stupid. So we're not saying to them. I do not respect religion as such because it's idiotic. I still respect the human rights of all religious believers. I still have I accept the right to their idiocy, but they still are. The gentleman behind you, yes.
Don't you think that religion is more of a phase of just slight memory washing amongst children instead of that they're stupid and safe?
Well, they're indoctrinated, of course, but then the basic core of education should be critical thinking, and we don't manage that.
It should be, but like right at the moment, you can't say that.
But I know also very intelligent people who still believers, and I think they're more intelligent than me, but in that part that they are believers, they're stupid. Yeah, you are here. Yes.
Yeah,
with the nice hair. Yes.
Your insults, aren't they?
But that's nice that you call it insults. Yeah, but nice.
You were using this term as well.
Yeah, okay, well.
Don't you think they're necessarily harming people?
Well, I hope that really people think about this kind of insult that harms people and the kind of harm that people do to physical harm. And you are here by choice. You choose to be insulted or harmed, so you feel free to leave at any time. But
so your action is only on physical harm?
Yes, in physical, and the thing, if I would lock the doors down and I would have here all kinds of beliefs and then I would have this talk, then maybe that would be also mental harm, physical, because there's not a freedom of choice. But nowadays, in an open society, the risk of an open society is that there is chance that you're being offended by what other people do, what other people say, or how other people believe. So but that's the only thing you have to. In Dutch, you have to say you have to have a thick skin. We need to have thick skins, and I'm helping you to make your skin thicker. So I'm actually doing an exercise with you. Yes.
Do you feel the same way about many political ideology, totally efficient markets? I don't know what else.
Neoliberalism is stupid. Yes, Mark.
I just have a quick comment and I have a short question.
Yeah, quick.
On the topic of insulting the religious, I'll stop verbally insulting religious people when they stop sexual abuse, hacking people to death, child indoctrination.
Yeah, non-believers.
And the question I have is, God has been said to be many things over the years. What if we don't know enough to properly define God?
Well, we wait. And if God's too difficult to define, well, that's too difficult, then we'll find out or not. So if something's too difficult, it's too difficult. Yeah. So yes, sir.
But you
Hans Steven or Charlie Hebdo, a humanist or humanist redaction?
Well, I think Charlie Hebdo, yes, they're humanists, they're in favor of gay and lesbian rights, they're in favor of women's rights, they're in favor, they're criticizing religion, they're criticizing all kinds of ideologies. Charlie Hebdo is humanist, and I think if anyone is not in favor of Charlie Hebdo, please leave the room. I'm not kidding, I'm really getting angry. If you think that they insulted, leave the room now.
Especially Charlie.
So, a little bit populistic. But it's serious. Yes, serious.
Would you agree with me that
I don't know, you just say it first.
society places stricter criteria on how atheists can insult religion than it does on religions insulting atheism?
I would like to be offended or insulted, but it doesn't happen. Is there any atheist in the room who has been offended by religion? Personally, I'm offended. Well, I'm offended by the stupidity, but or what the horrible things they do to each other. But I don't know. I don't know. Okay, thank you. Okay. So that is little. Yeah, last question on this.
Yeah, you talked a lot about how religion is really bad because it's not like you can prove the truth of it on scientific basis.
Yes.
And I agree with you, but then again, you base a lot of your argument on moral feelings and moral statements, which again aren't, you can prove those on the scientific basis either. So it's kind of hypocrite too. I mean, I agree with you, but then again, if you look at it.
Okay, it's not hypocrite, but
Because you can't make a moral statement and prove that it's right.
no, but that's what I just. Okay, good you ask. There's a question. There are questions about how the world is, and these are called descriptive statements, like how the world is. And the best way to know how the world is to apply the scientific method. But about ethics, ethics are normative statements, and science cannot give you any normative statements about the world. You cannot. You cannot find what is good by looking through a microscope or looking through a telescope. You cannot find it. But still, it does not. But I hope we can get consensus on basic moral values. And this basic moral value is unnecessary suffering is wrong. And of course, if you do not accept that, then we are on a different page. It's not objective, it's not there.
Not necessarily, because that's like a really deontological thing to say, like you always have to follow a certain rule. But there's a lot of ways to look at the world in an ethical way and not follow the rules exact. Like they don't have to be absolute. That's also a presumption which you can't prove that it's the right assumption to make.
Well, I think.
It's not a belief. So
No, that's not true.
To say you have to prove everything, because you can't.
Is there anyone here? Let's do a test. Let's do a test. And it's going to be a hard test. But I want to show you, to see if there is a possibility of consensus on this ethical action. And I know it's hard. And it's not. If you were a homosexual in Iran, so you have to think. You can think for you. You were a homosexual in Iran. Would you mind being hanged for being gay? Who wants to volunteer and says, well, if I were a homosexual in Iran, hang me, I wouldn't care.
There is this game of strangling where it's just...
That's very great that you made the audience laugh at this moment. That's really a good one. Yes. So, but what I just showed,
I was talking about absolute rules. If you were to act like Islam is wrong, probably most people would say, yeah, Islam is wrong. But do you lie from time to time? Yeah.
okay. Female circumcision is wrong. Who thinks that killing homosexuals, there are some kinds of things that...
extreme examples. And my point is that not necessarily all actions have to be absolute.
Oh, let me tell you, I'm not interested in the grey. I'm not interested, I'm only interested in the black and white. What?
Which is my point. There are grey areas, but you seem to deny that.
Well, if you are not a vegan, then you are an immoral monster. So that's not great. So if you go out this night and go and beat up homosexuals, you're evil. If you go out and lie to your partner tonight, are you evil? Well, I don't know. That's not what I'm interested in. I'm here, and the reason why I'm here is I'm here in order to stand up for the victims of this world. And there are a lot of victims in the world are victims of religions. There are a lot of, but they are of course not the only ideology of victims. But I'm here to stand up for victims and not for the trivial problems of lying to when it doesn't harm others. But one of the things that we should know, you should get angry at the good points. You should not get angry if people feel they're insulted by little cartoons. You should get angry at female circumcisions, about the bloggers being killed in Bangladesh, about the homosexuals in Iran. That's what should make you really angry. About honor killings, about forced marriage, about female circumcision, about male circumcision. These are things that should make you angry and fight for in a peaceful way. Okay, so we're getting there. Let us ask me to also have like communication with the audience, so we're doing well. So yes.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you about you were taking the point where when you talked about looking outside, you were telling us that there is a tower outside and it's blue, and it's not blue. So when we go outside and we can check for ourselves, it's not blue. So I think that kind of it's like an example of actually when you haven't been seeing the Eiffel Tower, for example, but everyone in your friends is telling you that it's there, but you haven't seen it, but you believe it's there because everyone says that it's there, so therefore you believe it. But it's the same with God, like you haven't seen it yourself, but because everyone believes it, you also believe it.
Yeah, but the thing is, if I could go to Paris and visit the Eiffel Tower, and if I ask my friends, where do I have to go to visit God? And then they would say, you atheists, you lack this moral, this gene, which you're not open for. So actually we are all very close-minded, we are mentally disabled because we're not open for this spiritual God. So we are all in this mentally disabled room here tonight, and I'm your mentally disabled entertainer. So, well, let's leave it at that. Okay. Okay. It's nice to also have a laugh, and at the same time, it's very serious stuff, as we already know. So, one of the things now I'm going to move. So this was classical humanism, radical humanism in a way, and now I'm going to expand it towards the ecohumanism. And one of the things that I think is very problematic with humanism is the humanism. It's about humans. And of course it's good that it's about humans, but as I don't know if you were at the two lectures this morning by Stein Brewers also about speciesism, that it is a way of discriminating against other species to say, well, you know, I am a human being, so therefore I have more moral rights, more standing than you. I can eat you because you're not a human being. I can treat you any way I want because you're not a human being. And of course, I won't go in there very long, because Stein Brewers did an excellent job on that. But the thing is that would be the same as what in history people always said, well, you know, you have different skin color, so you are a slave, you work for me. Why? Because you have a different skin color, or you have a different religion, you're a woman, so therefore you have no right to vote. And of course, we think today it's totally evil not to give the same right to all human beings, to people with different skin colors, different ethnicity, or or people who are not men. Usually all philosophy is pulled out from the history of man, And now we think it's completely normal, and of course it is completely normal that men and women have the same rights. But why do we still discriminate on the basis of species? And then I have to go back to the famous philosopher Jeremy Bentham. Because there is a fundamental moral question about how should we include who should we include in our moral club? Who should be in here and not in there? What is the criteria? And the criteria which philosophers came up with was the ability to use reason. Kant famously said, Aristotle said, Plato said, many philosophers said, if you can reason, then you are inside the moral club. That's why women are out. Yeah, don't blame me, don't quote me on that. That's not what I say, that's not what the most famous philosophers of the history of philosophy have said. That's also why women did not need education. Why spend education on people who cannot reason? That's a waste of time. So that's what they thought. And that's the same, we think that's completely idiot, and it is. But, so the question is, what is it's not reason. So because otherwise we think that people who are intelligent have more rights than people who are lowly intelligent. Of course, we think, do we have less, if you have the syndrome of Down, do we have less moral rights, human rights? No. Thank you for saying yes. Yes, and then you don't have less moral rights if you have less mental capabilities. But the thing is, yes, babies also have human rights, yes.
You say they're equal, but in daily life we all discriminate people who have less genes. For example, I would not go out with a girl who has syndrome of Down.
No, but that's not discrimination. I would not. That's your choice. You're not hurting her or anything.
Yeah, but I discriminate her on the basis of.
Oh yeah, but I discriminate. I don't go out with a lot of women. I discriminate very much. I don't go out with men, so I'm very discriminating against homosexuals. I don't date them. So, yes.
Rather than people who are more rational have more rights, rather than a threshold kind of thing. So if you have to reach a certain level of rationality, that's when the kind of...
Yeah, that would be nice there. But what do we do with the severely mentally retarded people or babies? Babies do not have... Babies actually have less mental capacity than a pig. A pig has a mental capacity of a child of 3, about 3. So if you go there, that's fine, but you get in serious trouble there. Yes, because then that'll mean you should barbecue babies and not pigs. Yes. Or atheists. They are pigs. Yes. That's what I argue. But the same, in the Netherlands we have a party for the animals, but we don't have animals in our political party. Well, maybe. But so the thing is about moral, to put someone in your moral circle, there can be, in political philosophers, make a distinction between moral agents and moral patients. Moral agents actually do the deliberation, like if you are a parent, you are a moral agent, you care for the babies. And as a society, we also care for babies and mentally retarded and our pet animals. And they are passive moral patients, but they still are moral. They're still in our moral circle. We don't eat them. Well, that's the thing. So the point is what I'm saying, that actually in the history of moral philosophy there are 3 words which are the most important words in the whole history of philosophy. And those are in a footnote by Jeremy Bentham. And he was thinking about, it's not the ability of reasoning, it's can they suffer? 3 words. And it took about 25 years of deep thinking to come up with that idea, that the ability to suffer is a better moral criterion than reason. So we have to ask, if a being can suffer, then then you should embrace it into a moral circle. Or you should say, I don't care about suffering, but then, beware. Yes?
I think there's a more interesting division between animals and human beings, which
we are animals.
Fair enough.
animals and non-human animals.
Okay, fine. Animals are, but they do not reflect in their being, whereas humans do.
Do we? Really? Who does? I see a lot of people not reflecting.
At least have the capability, and I think that's rather interesting and important distinction between animals and non-human
So,
animals.
is there anyone who does not reflect on their being here? Because if not, we can barbecue you.
No, she said the ability.
She just adds an extra dimension
But
to
exactly, but in that sense, reason, well, fair enough, you might not.
But babies don't reflect on their, maybe people in the syndrome of Down do not reflect on
They
their.
have to reflect the capability of.
No, they don't have it.
Your cases are just small.
Very small. So you think that it is, that if you have, but why, that's kind of discrimination. I mean, if you don't have, for one reason, that you don't have the ability to reflect, or the potential to reflect, that is like an arbitrary thing. That's like saying, well, if you're white, you're in, if you're not white, then you are out.
Okay, but to put it very bluntly, because humans are able to reflect in their being, I do think that a human life is more valuable than a.
I didn't say that. That's not what I said. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying into the moral circle. I'm not saying that everyone in the moral circle has the same value. So I'm saying that I'm sorry, I have to run out of time, and I have one more. So I have 5 minutes, I think. So 3 minutes. What? 4 minutes. So I cannot answer your questions. I want to go to the finale. So the finale is that if we accept, and if you do not accept it, then you think that this has to do with the first action, unnecessary suffering is morally wrong. If you accept that the unnecessary suffering is wrong, then automatically it comes into focus that eating and using non-human animals for trivial human pursuits is evil. Because it's unnecessary harm. You're not being harmed if you eat a plant-based diet. So today, you know, there are the good guys and the bad guys. The good guys ate a vegan dinner tonight, and the bad guys are the ones who were part of the animal holocaust here. So I really think you are an immoral monster if you still do. And that's the thing is, of course, you could not know. Of course, you were totally unenlightened in the darkness in the dark ages of morality. But then I enlightened you. And if you continue after this, you continue with this animal holocaust, you're a fucking immoral monster. So, and I mean, that would the same be like, oh yeah, I just learned today that black people are human beings. But I still have slaves, and I don't believe in that thing about it. Then you would be a fucking moral being. And so, a lot of questions, and I'm not going to answer them. So that's really authoritarian, because we need to go with one more eco-humanism.
Aren't you part of the Holocaust by performing here while we eat meat this night?
Well, you know,
I'm not performing somewhere where they eat meat.
Actually, no, I'm not performing part of it. Actually, and I'm thinking, I hate to be amongst people who are part of the animal holocaust. I really hate it. So actually, but I have to make a question. I mean, I wouldn't have be here with you, and of course, you get a second chance. You get a second chance once more.
Can you define unnecessary? Because you are here, you walked here,
yes.
You filled at least 10 words while stepping on them. You could have made that on Skype.
Yeah.
Aren't you part of the Holocaust by being here? What is unnecessary and what is necessary?
Well, you wouldn't die if you would eat animals. If you eat animals, if you eat animals.
Would you die if you would perform here?
Well, I suppose, you know, the ethical living. I will tell you what ethical living.
Yeah, black and white, so striving isn't an option.
Well, you know, I strive.
It's black and white.
Yeah, well, you know, the thing is, I'm normal, so I can admit that. So I strive to not to harm any being in this world. But I fail. Maybe I kill animals. Maybe there are some kind of animal products involved in this thing. Maybe there are some people in Bangladesh that made this on the terrible circumstances. I try to buy fair trade. But that's what I strive for. But if you eat meat, you make a conscious choice to eat part of this unnecessary suffering. That's the thing. That's a choice. So you are moral. You cannot be a humanist. You cannot be a moral being if you are using a non-human animal, of eating animals. Last point. The thing is, we are in a deep ecological
for Christ. And the thing is, I'm doing it right now, and the thing is, that's the problem with Humanist. If you look at Humanist statements, the last statement is always, oh, we have something to say about the environment. And then it's always the last point of any Humanist declaration. And I think we should turn around this, and that I'm a terrible example of it because I'm doing it here myself. We should turn around and be and look at what the priorities are. And there is a biggest problem in the history of humanity. Like we are all humanity, we are on this ship, on the Titanic. We are heading for the iceberg. And of course it's important that we are nice to each other on this ship. But if this ship hits the iceberg, we all go down. Atheists, meat eaters, religious people, stupid people, dumb people, we all go down. We first have to solve this environmental crisis. And I know we will go down. But we can see, do we want to be part of the solution or do we want to be part of the problem? And as long as you're not a vegan, you're definitely part of the problem. Thank you very much.
Deze op?
Alright, I'm just going to do it like this because the mic is down. I think we have a lot to discuss amongst ourselves. I mean, that was truly a rockstar performance, Floris. It's definitely been worth calling you up to ask if you want to be part of this gathering. And again, thank you very much. I think we all, in some way enjoy that at least. There's going to be about 15 minutes break. I guess we can all use that. So I want you all back here by 9:20.